Welcome back to the Stoop football fans. It's your boy Lolo. And oops, I'm showing too much stuff. I messed up already because Director John is not here today. Um, so you saw my mystery guest who was going to be with me today, as it was much a mystery, I'm sure. Big up to Pincushion, who's already in the house. Happy Newish year. John Lufgarside. Evening all, MOT. Rob Colton, howdy all Stoopers. Good to see y'all. And today on Happy Hour, we are looking at our mid-season report cards. Mark and I on the thumbnail with our little ruler, sticks, smacking kids and stuff like that. But we are here to rate everybody's mid-season. And since I do see we have more Leeds United fans than anybody else in the house at this point, and we have a quarter of our guests today are Leeds United fans as well, we will go ahead and do a Leeds United check-in as well when we get to the mid-season grades and report cards. So first of all, we made it through half a season. I think my biggest takeaway that I want to say, happy Friday. I forgot. And for all those celebrating dry January, here's to you. Low carb. That says dry January as I get. Cheers, everybody. Oh, first one in, 4 days. Not that many. But yeah, so my big takeaway from this first half of the season, and I'm not sure how you all are feeling about everything, but I just feel in the Premier League, we have been we've been forced to watch some terrible refereeing decisions, some terrible VAR decisions, some terrible usage of VAR, offside, out of bounds, handball, no handball, red card, double yellow, soft yellow. Pullback is always a yellow unless it's not. All of a sudden, we've had to sit through all of that. And we've harped on it for far too many shows. So to put that aside, I just want to say we all need to take a big step back and look at what we actually have this season and appreciate it. As Mark said on the live stream that we did earlier this week with Dave from Dave's LFC Chats, Mark said he's never seen a race with more than two teams in it. And usually one team that is kind of decided they're going to take it. And at this point in the season, the team that everyone has decided is going to win it is sitting in third place by 5 points. I know they have a game in hand, and okay, they win it, but they're still, even if they win that, they're still trailing by 2 points if they win that game in hand. So that's Manchester City. But we need to sit back and say, this is awesome that we're actually getting to watch a legit title competition where the top 5 teams right now are separated by 6 points. And then below that, the 6 through 10, 11 are only like 7 or 8 points. 6 points. 6 points different from 11th to 6th. So if we look at it, Arsenal lost the league when they had been up by 10 points. So that's kind of been my radar right now. So if I'm going by that logic, the people that are in the title race, it goes all the way down to 5th place. Tottenham, Arsenal, Man City, Aston Villa, Liverpool. But honestly speaking, teams are pulling points from other teams that haven't been able to do so. Man City, Arsenal, all these teams, Tottenham, all these teams dropping points to the likes of Villa, Liverpool, West Ham, Brighton, Newcastle on their day, Chelsea on their day, and Wolves. Wolves, who are being this little pain in the ass side that is doing surprisingly well. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about that from Mark when we get into it. But I would have to say, if I could grade the Premier League's first half of the season, in total, I'm going to give this season like a C. It's a passing grade, but it's being ruined by the use of VAR and the terrible officiating. If I can put that aside, this season has to be an A- so far. It's been There's been some phenomenal games. Many times we text match of the year right there, match of the season right there, goal of the season right there. Oh my God, what a match. And so when you're saying that over and over and over, and it's not only when one team is playing, you got to recognize that we are being treated to something awesome. So big up to that. Cheers to everybody, and cheers to the first half of the season being over. So it's about time to reintroduce my lovely co-host, who the curtains opened while he was still in the changing room. Everybody, give it up for Mr. Mark. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
There we go. That's better.
I am just so happy today. So very, very happy today. I know that we talked about my Wolves for a second there, that we're that pesky team that won't go away. And I was given more reason to love my squad today because they went 81 plus stoppage time, down 10 men to pull even on an absolute screamer by Tommy Doyle. I was so happy. I bought a jersey.
What?
I bought this year's jersey. I didn't do it early in the season because everybody was just like, "Oh, you guys are going to get relegated," and I thought we were going to get relegated, and so I held off. But I was so excited that for how well we played. Granted, Brentford's in pretty poor form right now, but still 81 minutes plus stoppage time, 10 men. And, we persevered without some important players as well. We didn't have He-Chan. We didn't have we didn't have our full complement. But, I don't think anybody is playing full complement except for Arsenal on Sunday. I think you're a little harsh on the season. I think you're a little harsh on the first half of the season. I think C.
I gave it an A.
But you initially
if you got rid of the
C,
VAR.
if you took away VAR, and we all know how I feel about it. I feel the Wolves have been more hard done than most.
And you didn't even mention the red card.
I didn't even mention the red card, which I felt was pretty weak. But that's for a different day. I do believe that we're being treated to a bit of a special season because there's a lot more parity at the top than we had last year, where it was all bottom and nobody gave a shit and it was a 2-team race. This season we have, you're saying it's a 3-4 team race. I might go as far as say that it's a 6-team race. I think West Ham is going to have something to say. Tottenham is going to get healthy once we get the break back. They're going to get Madison back. Van de Veer's already practicing. So I wouldn't count them out. You can never count out a Chelsea or a United, although I think I'm going to count them out because I want Wolves to finish above them. But this season, because there's been so much parity at the top, and that my club is actually pretty decent. Beyond expectations, that I'm watching matches with a different eye. I'm watching matches like was it who was it recently? Brighton, and who did Brighton play recently?
West Ham.
They played West Ham. That went to a draw. And I was rooting for a draw, and I wasn't watching this match as a neutral. I was watching it as a Wolves fan who wants to keep positions 8 and 7 within striking range, and it's fun. I finally get to feel a little bit of what you guys get to feel, when you're hoping for certain outcomes.
Yeah.
So for that, I would give the season like a B plus. I wouldn't quite give it an A-, but a B plus because of the officiating. But it's been really fun.
So you're saying, like, if the officiating was even just normal, we're in A plus territory.
Oh, definitely. If it was consistent. Yeah. And I think that's something that we've talked a lot on this show. We've talked about the consistency of officiating. And if we had that, it would be a much more enjoyable season. But Make no mistake, there is a hell of a shine on this season as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mark, just I love most of those comments. I mean, I love them all, but I think one thing that I would say, including West Ham and Brighton in that conversation. I know Brighton's only 14 points off of first place. I say
That's a
only
lot.
because there's 19 matches left, 18
Right.
matches left to play. And everyone is cannibalizing each other this season, except for really Liverpool. Liverpool have only lost one game. Everyone else
Yes.
has lost more than one game. And that one game, wasn't that Tottenham?
Yeah,
Where
I
the
believe
goal
so.
shouldn't have been disallowed. So like Liverpool are
Right.
scarier than we're even a lot of people are even giving them credit for. But I think with as the seasons progresses and gets into the nitty-gritty, you're going to see the likes of Aston Villa, West Ham, Brighton fall off and maybe not fall that far, maybe still be in the battle for 6, 7, 8th place, maybe even 5th, but who knows? But I don't see them actually becoming title contenders. It's hard to say Aston Villa isn't. I'm just going off of who's been there and who's done it, which is still hard to say why Arsenal are. I'm almost starting to pull Arsenal out of the conversation as well. It's all going to depend on how we bounce back from this in these first couple games, which I'm going to say I will call it early. I will concede the league this month if it continues going poorly. So,
Right.
And then just looking down the table with Manchester United, Newcastle, Chelsea all sitting there together, 31, 29, and 28 points respectively. I feel like as terrible as United and Chelsea have been and as big of a drop that Newcastle have done, it's kind of like Real Madrid in the Champions League. You got to finish them off. You can't just think they're done, because right now we're putting them out of our heads as they're done. I can see Chelsea
Right.
and Manchester United and Newcastle getting points off of Liverpool, Aston Villa, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham. Not to mention the West Hams and Brightons. Not
Right.
saying they're going to figure it all out and be in the race for the title, but those three teams, they have the teams to go on a run. They just haven't put it all together. If something starts to click for them, those are the teams that have the history that can go on a run. That put them above West Ham, Brighton, Aston Villa.
Right.
So
I, I might
we'll
I
see.
might I might like kind of pause on some of those teams and say that, we're gonna see them fall off, because in say like in Aston Villa's case, or as I was fond of saying, Aston Villa,
Austin Villa, you
Aston
used to
Villa,
say,
no,
like
Aston
full
Villa.
on Texas.
I mean, when they lost Ming, Yuri Mina, or
Mings.
it was Tyrone Mings. It's been so long. He was injured in like the second game of the year. They lost Matty Cash, and then they lost somebody early in the season or before the season even started to a knee injury in practice or something like that. And people were already writing that team off. And I don't see. They're well coached. They have some surprising depth. But then it's the usual players. Unfortunately, what has happened in the last month is that Arsenal has left the door open for everybody else.
Yep.
You guys have only gotten what, 7 points out of the last 15, something terrible like that.
I know we've gotten 1 out of 9. So
You've gotten
that's the biggest.
4 out of the last 15 points.
Yeah, not
that
good
opened the door. That opened the
Not
door
good
for
enough.
the teams that are in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. If
Yeah.
you had kept pace and created that divide, we'd be looking at a 4-team race. But right now, and we have no idea what sort of reinforcements like a Newcastle is going to bring in. Brighton has tons of cash. West Ham still sitting on some of that Rice money.
It's
and
January. I don't think people spend as much as everybody wants them to.
well, I mean, I think with that ruling that teams that are owned by the Saudis can loan out to a Saudi-owned Newcastle. I mean,
That is
the fact that ruling happened tells me that Newcastle has plans to make moves. So
well, Newcastle
we just don't know. We just don't know.
Well, Mark, we've taken our fair share of time while our lovely guests have been waiting backstage, and I can't decide who to bring on first, so I'm going to bring them both on. How about that? So everybody give a big what up to Mr. Tom and Gary. What's up, Gary?
Hello.
What's up, Tom?
Hello, Mark, Mr. Tom,
Hey, man, what's
everybody in the
going
chat.
on?
Hello.
Tell me that's a porter and not like Pepsi.
No, it is Pepsi. It's
Oh,
entirely
Jesus.
Pepsi.
It's a porter Pepsi.
It's
a
somehow
porter
like
Pepsi.
if that was just whiskey, I think it'd be healthier than that much Pepsi.
Hey, you let him
For
live his
everybody.
life.
Yeah, live your life, man. Live your life. What's going on,
Thank you,
fellas? What do you guys think about what we've been talking about? What would you guys rate this season for the Premier League, the first half of the season? Not everybody at once.
Wait, the Premier League season's going on.
What the hell is wrong with this guy?
All right, so I'm going to throw this to you, Gary.
And he asks like you did. Well, Mr. Tom, answer the question.
He doesn't watch the Premier League anymore.
What's the
He
Premier
only
League?
watches Arsenal.
All right.
He's if it's not Leeds, fuck him. Look at his cup.
I don't even watch Arsenal. I just sit there and win all their coins.
There you go.
Okay, Gary, you answer the question. We'll figure out why Tom's here later.
I think this is it looks competitive, but I think everybody's just waiting for, as people have said in the past, the shark to finally wake up. I mean, we're just kind of all waiting for. We're just waiting for that team in that light blue to just pretty much start moving because
Finally
they've
wake
been
up. 5 points out of first with a game in hand. I hate that. I hate that.
That's where they are,
gonna
though.
wake up someday.
Well, you know what? We are not making it hard for them, difficult for them, right? Every team's had a chance to put distance from them. Even when Liverpool lost by the 1 point that 1 year, you look back at some of the games that they lost going into that.
Hey, we
end of
beat
the year
them
stretch.
this year.
Yeah, no.
This guy
So
did too.
this is a competitive year. You can get it. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to be on for the rest of the season, right? So I think it's good in that sense. But you want to be playing your best ball, and not too many teams can say that right now. All right, definitely Arsenal is hit a bad spell right now. 5 matches and I don't even know what is that? What are you rubbing your? Stop touching there.
I'm trying to remind you that we can say that we're in fantastic form right now.
Yeah, no, is it this year when Wolves first game of the season, they could have probably won it if they could finish, right?
And
Right?
Manchester
That was this
United.
year, right? That was this year, right?
That's been a
was
lot.
That last year?
But
I don't know what you're
guys,
talking about.
if we look at the last 3 games, the most informed team in the league is Wolves.
Yeah.
No one else has won their last 3 matches.
Yeah, that Kuna guy's been looking really good. He's been scary.
Come on. What's my motherfucking name?
What is it? Something like 4? Four goals, 3 assists in like 5 games or something like that.
Yeah.
Kuna's been amazing. He's just woken up to in this new system. He wasn't much during the Lopetegui months.
Yeah. I think
when you're a Wolves fan, you refer to your managers in terms of months.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to be happy about it, but my team is playing terribly right now, so it's hard to be up for this the way this thing's going.
Okay, Gary,
right now.
you didn't hear my theory on. I don't know if you watched the live stream that we did, but my theory is everybody's going to be cheering Arteta and telling us what a genius he was to take a side that he knew had errors in them and tell them, look, guys, we have 2 games to close out this year. If you're going to play bad at all this year or this season, do it now. We'll throw it away and we'll start 2024 off and never lose after that. So go out, wear your boots on the wrong foot, wear each other's jocks. I don't care. And go out and play terribly. And we even tried to give Liverpool the game. We gave them a 5-on-1 and let them pass to one of the most prolific dudes on the ball in forever, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he couldn't do it. And Declan was like, come on, man. We're supposed to lose all these games. So then everybody counts Arsenal out, and then we go on this incredible run, and City doesn't, and they're like, "Oh, the tide has turned. Now Arsenal are the monster that can do it." And everyone's going to be like, "See, Arteta told them to drop those points early instead of late in the season." And yeah, so that's my theory, Gary, and I'm sticking to it.
You do movies, right? Oh, you're into movies, right?
Yeah.
The air around you isn't always clear and clean, right?
Well,
Why does
you
Jamie's
remember
laugh sound like Michael Jackson?
No, I'm listening to you and I'm going to myself, I listen to a lot of what Mr. Tom says on a regular basis, and I call him the king of nonsense. And I just like sitting there listening to you going, is that Mr. Tom channeling himself right into Lolo?
Tom got his start on the Stoop, all right? Before he was like a multi-podcast personality. He learned his trade of nonsense somewhere else, but he learned to express it openly on our show. Okay.
I hear. I wish that's what is the case, Lolo. I wish that was.
But you remember when Arsenal started the season, like we lost our first 3 matches or something, first 3 or 4 or 5. It was a terrible beginning, and I kept saying, you don't become memorable by just having a decent season and winning the league by 1 point. You become memorable by giving everybody a 5-week head start and then beating everybody. It didn't happen, but I'm writing these stories, man.
I know.
I'm gonna write a line of children's books that tell the story of how whatever team you want won whatever title they want, and it's just not true. But these kids all grow up like learning. Well, that's like the story of when Arsenal won it in 2022, and they're like, they didn't. This book is wrong. And you give it to your Spurs friends, kids. You write stories about Spurs winning the Premier League. Yeah, read that to your kids.
A Premier dream.
that Spurs team that are 1 point behind Arsenal.
You know, that's the scary part about it, and I listen to the fans from that team talk all the time, and they're like, "Oh, we're only 4 points behind them. We're missing like half our squad," and I'm like, "You are. That's the scary part, and you can't be letting them catch up to us, and they're here now." So,
God damn it, Gary. You were building that story up, and I was like, "Oh, what's the comeback? What's the comeback? He's coming with the comeback." And your answer to them was, "You are."
They are. I don't. You know what? I tell you, I talk.
No
I just
shit
talk.
talking. Come on.
I talk about what I see, man. I don't like what I'm seeing right now, at least from my squad.
So boring to live in a world where you only talk about.
No, but you know what?
The
one thing about the league is you do get to laugh at everybody else because everybody else seems to be dropping points as well, especially teams that you hate. They all seem to be dropping points. So you know what? You might have a bad weekend, but you turn around and look around, and somebody else is, having a bad weekend as well, and it makes you smile. So, I think it's keeping everybody engaged, as you said. That top, I guess 11 teams. There's going to be a lot of competition, a lot of things moving week by week because of how close everybody is. So it will be a lot of fun that way, and you have to be on your game. Doesn't matter who you're playing. Everybody thought Luton would be an easy walkover. Nah, not so much. They're playing some good football as well, right? I mean, I'm looking at their striker going, how'd they get one of those?
I'm looking at Luton's left back. Who is it? Dowdy? Dowdy, who I think he had 2 assists against Arsenal.
Dowdy.
Yeah.
He's just like dropping dimes into the box one after another. And who did they play that they ended up tying? They came back. Was it Chelsea?
Yeah.
Chelsea was beating the crap out of them, and then they came back. I don't even think they tied. I think they lost like 4-3 but they scored 3 goals in the last 20 minutes or something. Doughty was just pinging them in.
Yeah, they just a little short of that. Chelsea won 3-2, but Chelsea was up 2-0.
Yeah. They had chances to score the 2 goals to put them ahead late in that game. I was watching it, and it was like
you had your chance to grade something, Tom, and you fluffed it.
I did not fluff it, all right? I'm just wondering, I didn't hear any letters individually. I just heard a sequence of words and waffle. So, Gary, what was Arsenal?
We gave letters.
I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening. It didn't suit me. It didn't suit me in a moment.
See this?
Right.
The guy...
From Gary.
Yes, sir.
From Gary. All right, I'm going to change that a little bit. All right. No, seriously. Gary, grade it, please.
Grade the season as is for everybody, or the Premier League season, right?
The first half. The first half.
I'm gonna give it a B minus. And if we're gonna talk about the Premier League as a whole, yeah, B minus. I think some of that is, I think a lot of it is just, yes, we don't want to talk about the V word, but I think the officials and how they officiate and video review and all that stuff is, for me, everybody hates it. People are benefit from it, but people are getting punished by it as well. So it's not just the little people, Mr. Tom. It's everybody. Everybody's getting a piece. So I'm giving it a B plus. I'm giving it a B plus. It is good. Like I said, it is good to see a lot of the teams that are surprising us right now. Nobody would have thought Aston Villa would be sitting where they are. They knew Emery would do really well, right?
I knew Villa would be there the whole time.
Okay, so that's just a lie right there.
I'm the only one who put them in my top 4, by the way.
Yeah. That's a lie, Mr. Tom.
Of the season.
Take it back right now, please. Go on, take it
Sorry,
back.
Take what back? Sorry, I already forgot what I said.
This guy. Yeah, but we're all laughing at Manchester United and Chelsea, right? So
do it while you can. Just like I said, they're a pain in the ass. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Tom, coming to you.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what you think about the Premier League. Let's get to it and let's start breaking down teams individually. And we're going to be starting at the bottom of the table, going all the way up to the top. But just below the bottom of the table is the EFL Championship. So here we have oh, there I am up here. Here, hey guys, duck down, Tom. We only see your meaty shirt. There you go. Here's the table for the championship right now. We have Leicester sitting in first place with 65 points. Ipswich 10 points behind that. Southampton 52. Leeds United 48. And West Bromwich Albion with 42. I like that. You're like trying to look around, like see if you can.
It's like the Brady Bunch, at the end when they're all looking at one another.
Mr. Tom, Leeds United gets relegated, and they go down to the championship and are expected to demolish people and destroy people, kind of like what Leicester City is doing. You sit.
With
what's the math on
strike,
that? 17 points out of first place, but you're really aiming for third, right? Third or fourth? Third.
No, I'm aiming for second.
Second. All right. Yeah. So you are 7 points out of second, and you played 26, and I think in the championship you guys played like 307. So you've got a ways to go.
20 games left plus 307.
So, Mr. Tom, give me your letter grade after a bit of a rant, I'm sure, for Leeds United's first half of the season.
I think it's a solid C because you can't. I can't justify going higher simply because of the gap between us and the team that are top. However, it has to be taken into account that we had a lot more troubles in the summer compared to Leicester, and basically, you find yourself in a situation where we're turning up at Birmingham in August and we have players that clearly don't want to play. One explicitly refused to play. And I think Daniel Farke's done really well to stabilise what was potentially a really volatile situation with the squad. He has almost certainly stabilised the club. However, again, disappointing results over Christmas. The away form obviously is concerning in that, because you've got to keep in mind on the curve, like our form for the average championship season is very good. But we're not in the average championship season. We're in the season where it looks like 90 points isn't going to be enough, which is absurd. But it looks like it could possibly be true. Because while we were getting all the plaudits for like our almost our stalking of Leicester and Ipswich, of course, Southampton were kind of hiding on our back. And then they've sort of leapfrogged over us over the Christmas period. But it's by no means anything that can't be overturned or rectified. So, but I still fear to see because we're fourth.
I see. All right. And what are you hoping for in the second half of the season? I know clearly you're hoping for an A, but do you think a C continue like this and you guys can finish in a playoff spot, or shit has to change?
No, don't get me wrong. I am BX. To be fair, if we maintain the C, we'll probably finish fourth. So the reality is that we need to turn C's into B's or at least A minuses or whatever, and we can. The home form, the strength of the team, especially at home, tells me that we can, but we've got to get. Come on now, sir. Come on, 16 points, mate. Plus, no one hates Leicester, whereas everyone turns up against Leeds. We always get put on Sky in away games because they know they're going to show like an attempted giant killing. There's none of that shit with Leicester. Everyone just turns up and fucking lets Leicester walk through them.
Yeah, but why is that? I mean, yes, I know you guys, you're Leeds United, but I mean, I guess also you just came down
half the divisions from Yorkshire, Lolo. Not literally,
okay.
but it feels like it.
Yeah, because it seems to me that I get what you're saying by every match is a cup match when you're playing against Leeds, but wouldn't it be the same against Leicester? Like, you're probably being televised a little bit. There's bigger name players there. There's people watching there, why wouldn't it be the same? Why aren't they having that problem as well?
Please let me preface this with the thing that everyone thinks that everyone tries harder against them. I know Arsenal fans think it because there's the perception that everyone doesn't like Arsenal. It's not true because everyone hates Man United and Tottenham a lot more than they hate Arsenal. Yeah. However, I feel I'm somewhat justified in my claims that, say, Preston, for example, put all their eggs in we're going to try our absolute best against Leeds United. Now, I don't want people to not try their best against Leeds United. I want to win football matches because we deserve to win football matches, not people to let us win. That's absurd. However, it's annoying. For example, Preston beat Leeds, and they deserve to beat Leeds on the day. I'm not going to blow smoke up anyone's arse and say, like, we were robbed or that. We were shit. However, Preston then haven't won since. They've lost both games since that game. West Brom beat Leeds. Again, heroic performance. Get a 1-0 win against Leeds. Lost the next game. Rotherham lost 5-0 at Watford. Then put in the best performance of their fucking lives to get a 1-1 win against Leeds United on Friday night. And then on Tuesday, they lost 4-1. Fucking irritating.
Yeah.
Fucking pricks, the lot of them. Fucking Lee Peltier playing against Leeds like he's fucking Lionel Messi. And then playing the rest of the games like he's Lee Peltier. Fucking knobhead.
I think Tom here is just as upset about consistency as the rest of us are.
Just try as hard against everyone else as you do against Leeds. That's all I'm asking.
It doesn't happen, man.
I think that's a bit of a misnomer. I mean, you would have to watch every single game to actually be able to prove that.
I do watch every single game to prove that.
Hard. Sure, they play hard against Leeds, but wouldn't you expect them to play hard against everyone?
That's what I do expect, and results don't indicate that that's the case.
Yeah, but Mark, no. I mean, clearly, there's truth to what he's saying. I mean, you can tell, like, there's a big difference. Look at Wolves right now. You guys currently are playing better against teams you have no fucking right beating, and you're putting in work. You're doing damage. And then you go and play a shittier team, and
the refs get involved, and they fuck us over.
God.
And it's true. I'll go through the list.
That's not why you lost these games.
What, two bullshit penalties going to Sheffield United in that loss?
Yeah, but those are both
come on.
doable penalties as well. But I'm just saying.
Mark,
your players clearly play up. And then
we play everybody. It's just a matter of whether or not we're allowed to play.
Oh my goodness.
That's the same for everybody. Please stop. You're not the only team getting barred this season. You are not the only team. You are saying it right now. You brought it up.
I am not.
Get off that hill. Get off that hill.
Don't put words in my mouth. Okay. What I'm saying is that everyone has been hard done, but no one can say they've been as hard done as we have. We have 7 apologies for the PGMOL. 3 more and we get a free bagel.
Mark, all the games that you've lost were due to VAR mistakes.
Yeah. Almost all of them, except for Arsenal. Arsenal, we just got beat bad. And the officials realized, well, it's 2-0 in after 12 minutes.
You didn't benefit in any of those games that you lost. No VAR calls went your way. Is that what you're trying to say as well?
In the games that we lost?
And when you won, did any VAR calls go your way?
We have only had one. We've only been awarded 1 penalty all season. 1.
I didn't say penalties, but VAR didn't help you at all.
That's it. What awards penalties ultimately? VAR. They are the ones that go, well, you're right.
Last season when we did that, we said the same thing. You told us to just. That's what you told us to do. Now you're bringing it up. Your team is playing well. No, I don't think VAR is affecting you as much as you think it is, because everybody's getting a piece of it.
Did we deserve a penalty in the first game of the season against Man United when Onana clattered into us?
I was just talking about that, and you were acting oblivious.
Did we deserve a penalty?
I said you had that game. You should have scored. You had like 5 chances to score.
That's
not
my
score
question.
In that game.
That is not the question.
I talk about this all the time. Arsenal, all these things that people complain about, VAR, no. You put the ball in the net, guess what? VAR doesn't take that back. If you guys had scored in that game, you had so many chances. You had so many chances to score and make VAR a non-issue. Guess what you didn't do?
And
you
when
didn't put the ball in the net.
You can say that now, but your tune is completely different when you play like Newcastle and there's like 3 different ways it was looked at, trying to figure out how they can nullify it. And Arteta's like, but there's 5 more reasons.
We didn't score, Mark. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, you should have gotten a call at the end of the Manchester United game.
That's all I asked.
Guess what? You should have scored too. You had more than enough. If the way you're playing now is the way you started the season, because Kuna had chances. Kuna laid balls out to people and they missed it. Guess what?
We had our manager for 18 hours. We had our manager for 18 hours in that match. Or like 36 hours.
And that's why you missed all the chances. You guys, those guys never have made a shot in their life until he started coaching them. 18 hours.
What's the game plan with a brand new manager? What's the game plan?
Not to put the ball in the net. We never work on that. What are you talking about?
36 hours Gary O'Neill was manager with Wolves when they played.
And none of those players have ever put a ball in the net.
And we're supposed to know what he wants. We're supposed to know. We're supposed to have a solid game plan, a system in place to play Man United. You're having the fact that we only allowed 1 goal speaks volumes. You know, we didn't score because there's no plays designed. You know, there's no plays designed for that match. It's a brand new fucking coaching system.
So
now look where we are 20 games in. Look where we are now.
So you didn't miss any chances in that game because the coaching was bad. The coaching was new.
Genuine question. Genuine question.
Everyone misses chances.
That's why you lost the game.
Okay, sure. And you could also add that we should have been given a penalty that would have tied the game and solved the problem that you said we had, that we didn't score. We would have scored. We would have scored on a penalty.
Tom, really.
Well, you would have had the opportunity to score. Not everybody scores on a penalty. So
just ask Chelsea.
Just ask Mo Salah.
Okay. Can I
just
ask a question?
Saeed Ben Rama.
Okay. So, what does Wolves versus Manchester United in August have to do with my theory that it's annoying when Sheffield Wednesday lose most of their matches but then get a point at Ellen Road when they put 15 players behind the ball?
Well, first it sounds like they cheated. I mean, I don't think you're allowed to have 15. So maybe you guys should. Is that how it plays? Is that how it works? Is that how it works in the championship?
I have no idea. I have no idea. It was National Cinema Day that day, ironically. So. It's one of my favourite days of the year.
Ironically.
I have no idea why it was ironic, actually. It had nothing to do with it. So, yeah, my apologies, everyone. It was a bit of nonsense from me.
No, you don't do nonsense, Mr. Tom. Yeah. You never do nonsense. What's happening?
I really don't. So let me break it down for you. Let me tell you some stats. Did you know that in 2024, Patrick Bamford has scored more goals than Messi, Haaland, and Ronaldo?
Combined.
Folks, you come to happy hour for nonsense. Combined. You got it right there. Bamford is better than all those other players. The GOAT. He is better than the GOAT.
Bamford has I don't know if he said that season, and he gets to be a lord.
He said he's leading the Golden Boot of the World award right now.
I think it's more the Golden
Boot of my heart.
Yeah. Okay.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe my eyes. I'm sat at work. It's genuinely true. Sat at work following the game through Twitter because it weren't on TV and all that. Following the game. And it literally Leeds put out the tweet. It comes up. Bamford scored. I was like, what, motherfucker, what? Then we score again, right? Again, expected. We're Leeds. I expect to win against Birmingham. Fuck them. Fuck Rooney. Fucking Granny Shack. Fucking fat. Fuck. Anyway. Sorry. So then it comes up, Daniel James scored. I'm like, all right. Junior Firpo assisted. I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, what, Bamford scores Firpo assist? Right. Then we score again. Firpo with another assist. I was like, what the fuck is happening at Ellen Road right now? Madness. Must have been a madass.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Looked King Lord Firpo.
I bet it absolutely was a madhouse. Well, fellas, we are going to have to start ranking some teams, like it or not, because that is what we said we would do. So we've got about 15 minutes before halftime, so we can get into this. And I figured the way that we would do it was start all the way at the bottom. So that means first and foremost would be, let me see if we get this one correct.
Sheffield United.
I saw that, Jimmy.
Sheffield United. All right, everybody, peek over the bar or under the bar. We're looking at Sheffield United, guys. They're sitting on 9 points. They've only got 2 wins, 3 draws, negative 34 goal differential. Guys, Sheffield United, I know they were just promoted, but did we think they were going to be this bad?
Oh, come on, it's not VSF. They're not the worst team, though. They're not the one I'd actually give the worst grade to.
So don't give them the worst grade.
They're the worst team. It's a worse team than them.
Well, we'll get there then, I'm sure. So I got to say this. This is a D minus because they took some points off of Aston Villa. So there's that to hang your hat on. But yeah, they're in some big trouble, Sheffield United. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. D for me, yeah, or D minus. I'll go on along with that. Yeah, I mean, when people looked at who was going to go down, I think their name was on the list. They did not hold back. They did not hold back. They went. They said, "Hold my beer. I'll show you how to get kicked out of the Premier League." Just not ready. It's crazy. But yeah, D minus. I'll go with that.
All right, Mark.
I think I've watched a couple of matches Sheffield United outside of, like if they play like a headlining club that I want to watch. They're awful. They are awful. Their goalkeeper is awful. Their back line is awful. They got rid of their best talent to start the season. Inexcusably bad, and could quite be as bad as, I'm not sure which team it was that broke the record a couple of years ago for like the least amount of points ever earned, or came really close to that.
Derby County. 11
Okay,
points.
so I think maybe that the final total was like 13. I would be real surprised. They're on like what? I guess they're on 11.
No, Sheffield United on 9. Derby got 11.
They're on 9. Yeah, I just no, they're awful, and they get my F. I've got a couple of them, but that's an F as far as I'm concerned.
An F. All right, Mr. Tom.
Well, yeah. Now that I'm actually more thinking about it, you're right with a D minus because again, I think that is worse. But as I said, clearly not cut out for this level. What makes it more disappointing than let's say than Luton, right? Because Luton are first timers here. Sheffield United have been in the Premier League on multiple occasions, and that's what makes it more disappointing. Is that they've not actually learned anything seemingly from their previous excursions into the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm so harsh on them as well, as you'll see with my Luton score. Because
you also have to remember that Sheffield United also gave up a hat trick to one King, as Mr. Tom will say, King Eddie Nketiah.
That's why they're a D and not a D minus for me.
Okay, well, let's go to Burnley. What do we think about Burnley mid-season grade? F. You think they're the worst?
They are the worst.
And why is that, Tom?
The reason they're the worst is, again, they have Premier League experience. They've spent I don't say a lot of time in the Premier League, but they've spent enough time in the Premier League for me to feel like they would have made a better go. The way they dominated the Championship, and this kind of includes Sheffield United, because those two were well out in front of everyone else. And we were getting all this, it's a new Burnley, they play good football now. And it's like, well, evidently they only play good football against the Championship, because their attempts at playing good football now don't work. And I'd argue they're worse defensively than Sheffield United, because Sheffield United's conceded 8 in one game. So they're actually not that much better.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, and I think there was a lot of talk about Burnley coming up at the end of the last season because they did score so many points and goals in the Championship. They ran away with it, didn't they? And Vincent Kompany coming back to the Premier League. How's he going to do as a manager? This and that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have just not been. They're not the Sean Dyche Burnley that you knew and hated. Right now, I feel like they lack an identity. Yeah, they lack an identity. They're not deadly on set pieces. They're not going to boss you around. Right now, I don't know who they are. I'd have to give them an F as well.
If he wasn't the manager, they would come in for much more criticism. They are highly protected in this football media because of who they're being managed by.
Absolutely. Gary, Mark?
Yeah, I can see. I give them an F as well because the expectations were they would do a lot better than they have. Yeah, they, I mean, we played saw them today. I mean, they didn't look good either. I think they're out right now. They're out right. They had chances and didn't do that. So yeah, expectations and all of that. You think they were going to do well, but yeah, F for me. I know it's kind of it might have been expected, but I think not so much. I think not as much as Sheffield United. So
It was football
but
last night. Oh,
yeah. I'll see you guys. I'm hoping to be back before you're done. I have to step out for a bit. So
Okay,
Tottenham
Gary.
played.
We'll
Yeah.
see you. We'll see you
We'll
when you
keep
get
your
back.
seat warm.
all right, thanks.
I only I'm not giving Burnley the F because they beat Sheffield United and they beat them pretty handily. I want to say. I don't quite remember what that score was, but that's beside the point. I do agree with Gary about the fact that they are given a little more of an excuse because of Vincent Kompany. But I think that credit is quickly running out. I think he'll be the next manager to be sacked. Where defense is just terrible in Sheffield. It's not much better with Burnley. Burnley finds the net barely a little bit more, but because of the fact that Burnley beat Sheffield United, I got to give them a little bit of a better grade and give them that D-.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll sack him.
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't think they're going to
I
sack him.
don't think they'll sack him. And
I
my
think they
reason
do.
is
I think they do.
okay. I'll say why I think they won't is because if they do go down, which with respect to them is looking more likely than not, is who better? It would be like when Norwich went down and they didn't sack Daniel Farker, they kept him and then bounced straight back up.
Yeah.
So they'll probably think the same thing may happen. Because part of the reason their team is worse, I didn't mention this before, is because they had a lot of good loan players while they were in the Championship, but then those same players didn't want to make the moves permanent. So their squad was worse by default. And they never replaced those, like Nathan Teller and players like that, scoring goals for fun in the Championship, but didn't fancy like just standing around and not receiving the ball as much in the Premier League. Quite frankly. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Luton Town. Luton Town, guys. I have a fair amount of respect for Luton Town, the way they've been playing, the way that they've been going about their business, and they're an enjoyable watch. They are playing balls to the wall football, and it feels like old school football. And maybe it's because all their home matches that you watch are like the one low camera angle. It looks like there's like 1 yard between the edge of the pitch and the barriers or the seats, and it's really fun to watch. And they're putting in performances. They have Ross Barkley there is revitalizing his career. Like maybe a lot of these other players maybe need to take a step off of their ego and do something like that to make maybe take a step down to a club like that where you can play 38 matches as much as you're healthy. But he's doing good things. Chong is great for them. If they could get another similar level player to come over, help out in the midfield, they've got a lot. They got a lot of things going for them. I do think they will escape relegation now. I had them a surefire relegation before, but I'm going to give them. Because I feel like they're coming into their own and they lost a ton of matches in the beginning of the season. They're picking up points here and there. I'm giving them a B for their season so far. B.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna quite give them the B, but they are a fun team to watch. They've played surprisingly well against City. They played fantastic against Arsenal. They beat Newcastle, and this is all of as of late. And this is it's not where you start, but it's kind of where you end. And they ended the first half of the season just absolutely fantastic. I do wonder how the loss of Lockyer in the back, the guy that he had the cardiac arrest on the pitch, second one in like 2 seasons. I don't expect him back this season, and I think that's going to be a big miss. And it'll be really interesting to see where Luton go from there. Maybe they can pick somebody up in the window, who knows? But I've enjoyed their play, and when I'm not watching them, I'm following them in the box score. They've proven themselves real well, and I would straddle B minus C plus. There's been a couple of, like in the early season they were pretty bad, but they're really coming along. I'll commit B minus for me.
I thought you started off by saying I can't go all the way to a B like you.
B minus. That is not all the way to a B.
I guess
technically
you're right.
The truth.
I guess you're right. I forgot about the plus.
I'm giving them the minus.
All right.
I was gonna go with when you Lolo said B. I immediately thought, well, I'll go B minus. So unfortunately, Mark beat me to it. But again, and yeah, it is a bit of recency bias. But the reality is that the thing I will give them is they are going at 100% against everybody. Granted, I'm giving the minus because they are coming out on the wrong end of a lot of the games. But I always respect, as part of my annoyance with my own team, I'll always respect anyone that tries against everybody. And they can't be accused of phoning it in. And like Mark said, they are 1 or 2 good free agent, possibly acquisitions away from actually getting above the line.
Yeah. And as tough as it is to say, but down there at that end of the table, if they get 3 wins off of matches that they weren't supposed to get anything, like if Arsenal don't find a way to put the ball in the back of the net, if Liverpool don't find a way to equalize, these are points off of big clubs that they have no reason to get any points. And if they pull some of those off and then help themselves just a few times, there's enough. You've got other teams around them that are struggling, that could be finding themselves down there. So I don't know if that makes any sense. Did I? Yeah, it is about that hour mark, so my brain's starting to go a little loopy. But yeah, okay. Very nice. We covered that one. All right. Next up, we'll try and squeeze in this one. Everybody's favorite candy, toffee, Everton.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Everton mints.
I can't.
Oh, I don't
find
know
those in the. Do you find the Everton mints in the urinal? Yeah. Anyway, know. Everton, the toffees. I don't like toffee. It sticks to my dental work. I will always be a big fan of Sean Dyche, and I really love the way that he is using that 10-point deduction as a motivator for his squad. Saying that, hey, the league wants to keep us down, and let's show them who we are. They were showing the league who they were before that 10-point deduction. Everton was pretty awful last year and very, very lucky. Obviously, there's all sorts of, people have issues with them because, of the financial fair play, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that Everton is actually a pretty good squad. We'll see what happens with the loss of Dominic Calvert-Lewin to a red card. So the next 3 matches, they're good. And I think their season has been somewhat successful. I would I'll give them a B. I'm going to give Everton a B. Think about where they would be in the table if it were not for that 10-point deduction.
It's funny is I think they would be exactly where they are right now without that 10-point deduction. I think they shot above their what is the term? Punched above their weight.
They punched above their weight.
On the back of, call it a new manager bounce. It's exactly what it felt like, was a disrespected bounce. And it's like, they're going to disrespect us. And I'm like, yep, but you cheated. The only disrespect is that they only did it to you and not to multiple other teams. So there's a little disrespect in that, but I don't hear enough of, yeah, I mean, we were guilty, but I mean, come on. No, it's like, fuck them. They want to take points. We'll get them back. And I'm like,
They did.
And they got them back, and I think now they're done. Now they're going to go back to being Everton. So, yeah. So I'll say, give them a B. I'm a B minus. I'll give them a B minus. They have not been great, but they bounce back from some adversity. That I think it's Sean Dyche using as momentum. It's Dyche. Dyche, I'm going to give a B+ to for the mid-season. Tom?
I'd like to award Everton the grade of C. CUNTs, because that's what they are.
Very nice.
Okay.
That's it. That's all he's got.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we got through the first 5 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4. We only did 4 teams. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get through the rest after the happy hour, the halftime break.
Speed run.
Yeah, we're going to speed through some of these other ones here, but we're going to take a quick halftime break and show you guys a little clip from the live stream that Mark and I did earlier this week with Liverpool fan Dave from Ireland, from Dave's LFC Chats. And this clip, I believe we were talking about the FA Cup and if the FA Cup matters and all that. So we will be back in just about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So use the bathroom if you need to, but keep your headphones in. We'll be right back.
I don't want to throw the FA Cup under the bridge and say it's a worthless cup. The FA Cup is a bigger cup than the League Cup, but we're in the semi-finals of the League Cup. We're not in the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Hey, hold on. Since we're out of the League Cup, can we go ahead and call it by its real name and the Sports Drink Cup?
You want to call it the Mickey Mouse Cup?
No, the Sports Drink
the Sippy Cup.
Energy Drink Cup. Yeah, the Carabao Cup.
Carabao.
Which over here in the States, we don't have Carabao energy drink. So
I've never even seen the bloody stuff.
We all think it's the caribou, like the animal.
Or the coffee shop.
So did I.
That's kind of weird, too, because I think I looked up Carabao energy drink, and it's like a Filipino brand.
I haven't got a clue.
Which I don't even understand how
it's
even
been
fits
sponsored
in with English
by
football.
the weirdest. Ever since I remember that it was called the back in the 80s and 90s, it was called a crazy data systems cup. It was called the Coca-Cola Cup, the Milk Cup, the League Cup, the Disneyland Cup, whatever you want to call it. It's a day out. It's a day out of Wembley. It's a day out of Wembley. It is a cup. It's a domestic cup. Yeah. It's an actual cup.
Right. Next year it'll be called the Reverend Horton Heat and Air Conditioning Cup.
Yeah. just call it the Pee Wee Herman.
Call it the Pee Wee Herman Memorial Cup.
There we go.
All right, guys. We're coming down to our last few minutes of the show. Let's regardless of who's fielding what team, what is our predictions for Sunday? Dave, talk about what you think's going to happen.
Let's talk about the game. Well, it depends on the lineup. I mean, if Klopp goes with a weakened side, I can see Arsenal beating them because I think Arsenal are going to go strong. I think Arsenal will go strong. I think it's more important for Arsenal to win at home against Liverpool and then to say maybe give them some sort of catalyst for the start of the season because they've got a bit sluggish. So I think they're going to go as strong as they can. Liverpool the semi on Wednesday will mix it up a little bit, which a bit of jeopardy there. I think we might get a draw. I think a draw would be the best Liverpool could get. Maybe then have a replay, be another bloody game, which will defeat the whole purpose of the whole bloody thing. That's the dynamics, the equations of the universe we're living in. But I think it's going to be
telling me how good we are at home.
For Liverpool.
Keep telling me how good Arsenal are at home, because
I'm not saying they're any even good. I'm just saying if Liverpool play a weakened team, I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to be positive, but I just don't know what Klopp is going to do. If he plays a weakened team, it's going to be tough for Liverpool. If he plays a strong team, it's going to be tough for Arsenal. You know?
All right.
Head says Arsenal, heart says Liverpool.
Do you have a score prediction?
Well, I think if Arsenal do, as I say, go strong and Liverpool go slightly weak, it's going to be tough for Liverpool. I'd say Arsenal win 2-1. But, you know, I don't know. It's been a strange fucking season. It's been a strange season. Anything's possible. Yeah. Jota might show up. We know he likes a goal. We know he likes a goal at the Emirates, but it all depends on the lineups, lads, which we probably won't find out until about an hour before kickoff.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is a jeopardy game.
With a draw, 0-0. A 0-0.
Could be a 0-0. A 0-0 will suit nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a draw will suit either of you because then there's a replay.
I think 0-0. If it's 0-0 and like the 96th minute of 7 minutes stoppage, I say Saliba just walks it into our own goal and goes, no.
That's it.
No,
We're done.
No.
I'll take that.
I'm heading to the beach.
I am not doing this again. We have to play them in the league like shortly after.
Yeah, like 3-4
4th
weeks
of February. 4th of February in the league.
Yeah. So I say just walk it in. Just walk it in. Just be done with it. Win or lose.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That was a lot of fun doing that.
That was a lot of fun. Dave is good crack, as they say. Big up to Dave's LFC chats. Oh, I just saw your message. Yeah. Okay, so now we can get to the rest of the grades, or we can do betting in the dark with Mr. Tom, which I did not prepare as well as John prepares. So, but yeah, let's get to it, Tom. Let's go through this real quick. Let's do some betting.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love, place your bets.
All right.
Cyril's back.
Let's see if this is going to work. Boom. How about that? There you go, Tom.
Yeah,
that's as good as it's going to get. It is not John style, but it's there. Tell us what we got, Tom.
I've gone for, obviously, Sunderland versus Newcastle. Got a big payout. Sunderland are going to win. I'm visioning it as Sunderland score first. Joe Bellingham. I believe he and his brother, Leeds United, are probably one of the few teams to be scored on by both Bellingham brothers, unfortunately. Because when the older Bellingham played for Birmingham in 2019. So, unfortunately, when he was 16. Anyway, someone will probably score for Newcastle at some point. It doesn't matter for the purposes of this, as long as one of them do. And then former Leeds player Jack Clark to score their second goal can turn out £1 into £400. Delicious.
Wow.
Buy a lot of Pepsis.
You could buy a lot of Pepsis. Mark, I don't know if we're able to bet on the FA Cup matches, are we? I haven't seen those on there.
I have never been able to. I think maybe once or twice, but it was like a super extravaganza exceptional game. Like what Liverpool and Arsenal might be. Yeah, that you might be able to bet on that FA Cup match, but I doubt Sunderland and Newcastle are going to be making the
Well,
cut.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Speaking of which, you've gone with Arsenal Liverpool next. 232.1 to 1. All right.
Okay. What I've gone here for here, I see Liverpool scoring the opening goal, Gakpo, because obviously Salah's unavailable. Saka's going to score one of the two, and it will be finished as a classic Desmond 2-2 because Arsenal Liverpool usually yields goals.
And I would
And
100% put Jota to score. You know he's going to play, and he always scores against us. That
That's
little
fine.
bastard.
But it's important to note as well, I believe it is happening in the fabled 4:30 slot on the Sunday. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And goals. And Mark knows that slot on a Sunday rains goals. Like goalkeepers fear it, probably.
Yeah.
I made that up. I don't know if I did.
I actually might. I might bump it up like to 3-3. You know, because to me, four goals in that slot from what we've seen, and Tom, you are when you first said that, I've been watching it, and it does happen consistently, and I think Arsenal is they want to show their fans that they're not shit.
Yeah,
because I heard the boo birds in that match against Fulham.
Yeah, I just don't know if I could pick this one as a draw because I'm telling you, neither one of these teams wants a draw. It's just another game. So I'm telling you, it's either going to be Virgil van Dijk or Saliba who just walks it into their own goal at the whistle, just to be like, "Good game, lads. Y'all can have it."
That plays into what I was saying though, because neither team can afford the draw. It's likely to actually end up with neither team being happy.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping for this right here.
Also, I did have a cheeky bet on Arsenal to win the FA Cup, but I also had a cheeky bet on Liverpool to win the FA Cup because you're playing each other. The odds are significantly higher than they would be if you weren't playing each other.
Yeah, and remember
12-1 on Liverpool for context.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's still like early on. It's like the third round or something.
Yeah.
There's like 100 teams still in it. I can't believe we're playing each other. But it looked like a lot of the Premier League teams were playing Premier League teams. All right. So
before we move on, I want to ask those who are watching us at home. There are tons of matches tomorrow, and none of them I know anything about any club. So if anybody wants to put like what is like a real delicious match to watch in that 9 a.m. slot Eastern time, which would be like what 2 in the afternoon over there. If there's just something that is an absolute can't miss matchup that I don't know, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Do something. Call me.
Well, Mark, actually, it looks like 7:30 a.m. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 matches. There's a 7:45, and then there's 10 a.m. There are
it's like 12.
1, 2,
14.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, this is what I'm talking about. In that slot, there are 20 teams in the 10 a.m. slot, and they've been playing all week. Geez, how many teams are left?
Well, if it's the third round, isn't it like 160 some odd teams are in the FA Cup?
64 teams are still in it. So that's the thing with Arsenal and Liverpool. Like, even a win is like, fuck, okay, more shit that we gotta.
256 teams. If there's 64 now,
left?
round of 2 would have been 128. First round would have been double that.
Mark, you're not accounting for the fact that the Premier League teams enter at the third round stage.
Oh, I don't know that.
And the Championship. So basically, the second round, the second round ends up with about 40 teams playing for 20 spots. I'm probably wrong there.
Fair enough.
But-
I
No,
bet
because
you're
there's
close
only
enough.
20
yeah.
Premier League teams.
No, that's fair. No, I'm just saying, obviously.
So 44
Okay.
spots.
I didn't realize that the upper tiers
Yeah, that's
were
right. Yeah.
were late joiners to the cup.
That's why
And
it's
the
a
back
big
up.
deal for a lot of these teams to make it this far.
Yeah.
Because you get potentially television, you get
Yeah, you get
obviously
television
the
money.
exposure, the prize money.
Yeah, which is a good and a bad thing about, like, you know, is it fair that Sunderland is playing Newcastle and then you have, you know, Coventry, Oxford United, AFC, Wimbledon, Ipswich.
That's the beauty of this tournament, though, is there's no seeding.
So, but I mean,
No, it's
how
all
does
draw.
it?
It's all
It's
drawn.
just crazy. It's just crazy that Arsenal drew Liverpool, but I guess they have just as much chance drawing anybody.
That's the thing. It's the reality of
Right.
it is if Arsenal happen to like the FA don't want Arsenal to draw Liverpool in round 3, really, because they want the biggest teams at the end. But
Yeah.
the way it's structured, if it happens, tough shit.
No, maybe they don't. Maybe they want one team for the 4:30 p.m. slot where they know everyone will watch because all the rest of the matches were nonsense. Man City, Huddersfield, come on. They'll put out their Calvin
Wolves
Phillips might actually
Brentford
see
was
the
not
pick.
nonsense.
Yeah,
That was
Wolves
entertaining.
nonsense is Wolves nonsense.
Wolves
Brentford was
Brentford was a fun match.
I'll give you
yeah,
a
but
very
that's two
quick
Premier League
bit of
clubs.
trivia on it. There's one team in England that Pep Guardiola has never beaten, but he has played against them. I mean, like he's
Attaboy,
managed against them.
Axel.
Is
Huddersfield. No, they
is
were
it
in.
Oh,
is it
It's got to be
Brighton?
in one of
No.
these. It's got to be in the FA Cup or the League Cup.
that's
know.
very good. That's very good. That's true.
Because they wouldn't have no freshly promoted and then relegated side has beaten Man City twice in the season.
It's not Leeds, Anders. It's actually Middlesbrough, and that's
Middlesbrough.
because in an FA Cup tie, I think they did play them in the Premier League, and they may have drawn twice or something like that. But in FA Cup tie, Middlesbrough won at Man City. Patrick Bamford scored twice for Middlesbrough.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, there you go. Way to bring it back to Leeds
before
United.
he was the Lord?
Every chance I get. Every chance I get.
All right, tell us about Wigan versus the Scum.
Okay, so
Whoa.
Wigan are 17th in League One. Wigan were formerly a Premier League team. Wigan won the FA Cup against Man City in 2013 and then got relegated at Arsenal 3 days later, back when they did the final before the end of the season. So nothing in this points to Wigan being able to beat Manchester United. However, it is the FA Cup. This is betting in the dark, and there's no money to be made in saying that Manchester United will win this on Monday night. So you've got Wigan to win 2-1. And I think Hoyland's going to score first because apparently he is going to be back to fitness. And they're going to, even though if he isn't, tough shit for him. But
No,
anyway,
he had like a cold or something, like some sort of
fair
virus.
enough. And I looked through the Wigan top scorers, and there are 2 guys on 7 goals. So I just picked one of them to score. Apparently his name's Charlie White. I could not pick him out of a lineup if I ever met him, but someone's going to score in this 2-1 win. So big monies if it happens. It's not going to happen. I want it to happen because it'd be funny.
That would be very funny. And here I am.
Onana's playing, right?
Onana?
He hasn't gone. He hasn't gone for the AFCON yet, has he?
He should be playing.
I
I'm just trying to be as good as John here, but here's Charlie Wyke for you. Maybe what is coming out of the side of him?
A keeper? It looks like a hand.
Jesus Christ!
What The heck is
It's
that?
like one of those
Here?
horror movies where something
It
like
looks like
burrows under his
yeah,
skin.
it's like a Cronin. It's like he's all Cronenberged out.
Oh, dude, no, he had cardiac arrest on the pitch. That's like a defibrillator thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you can see
Wow.
where it leads
Yeah.
to. You can see the wire.
That's
That's
Oh,
crazy.
he's definitely going to score then because
he's the
it'll be even the
bionic
best
man.
story, won't it? Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, then he has to score. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be him against Christian Eriksen. They can't get too close to each other, else they set each other off.
Old Trafford
soon?
will explode if they touch each other side to side. Sorry, don't cross the
You got-
streams. Anyway,
you
sorry,
got-
it's Ghostbusters.
You got some guy trying to smuggle a battery powered microwave onto the pitch to try and short him out.
Yep. Wow.
Uh,
So
Okay, thank you for betting in the dark, Mr. Tom. That was great.
you're most
Much
welcome.
appreciated. And just remember, all these bets that Mr. Tom picks for us are requested to be the most money making, craziest bets possible. So we all know with crazy bets, with big high payouts, are terrible bets. So we don't recommend you actually put any money on it. But if you happen to and it hits, let us know about it.
Drop us a few bucks.
Yeah. If not, don't charge us, please. Charge Mr. Tom. All right, guys. Let's get back to this. Who were we on? You all remember we were on Brentford.
Are on Brentford.
All right. So what do we think about Brentford? How are Brentford doing in what are their mid-season grades? What is their mid-season grade? Everybody?
They are the hard luck kids on the block as far as I'm concerned. They've been hit with a lot of misfortune injury-wise. Obviously, the suspension to Tony, and he may or may not be back in at the end of the month. Wolves played them today. They weren't that great, but we played them like 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and we were up 3-1, and I wasn't like, I was nervous. It was the most nervy 3-1 lead I've ever had. I can only imagine what they would be like if like Mbuomo was in, or Tony. Wisa is like, wow, that guy is so fast and so good. They've lost like 6 or 7 straight. They're getting to the point where I might put Thomas Frank, one of my favorite Premier League coaches, on the hot seat. Only because it's going to be desperation if this form continues and they go down, or they run the risk of going down, because they're just too good of a team. But with all their injuries, and the Tony suspension, I got to give them an incomplete. I can't fault them for this. I can't fault, because it's just, they just have lost everyone. If I was to give them a grade, I think I'd give them just a solid C. I can't give them the, what did we call that? That recent bias.
Recency bias.
I can't give them that.
Well,
so
I think
if I have to give them a grade, it'd be a C.
Yeah, I was just looking at it at their run of form, and they've lost 7 out of their last 9. It looks like, and their last win coming against Luton Town at Brentford. Now that's one of the more concerning things to me with Brentford is playing at home for them used to mean something, and it even meant something towards the beginning of the season, where they put in some good performances and they were looking like themselves, but they've just gone on a tear of terrible results, including results at home. So yes, it sucks about Tony not being there for the whole season, but they knew that in the summer they could have got somebody. They knew it wasn't like, oh, he might be back in December. No, they knew there was a date. And then when he comes back, he's not going to be fresh. It may take him a game or two. So they're like, we got Mbuomo and Wisa. But you had them last season with Tony. It's not like To me, Mbomo going down, that's terrible. That sucks for them. But it's kind of like, what did y'all do? What did you do in the summer? So to me, that all leads to them having a decent first quarter of the season and then a terrible second half of the season. So I'm going with a C minus. Tom, I took your
That
C
was what
minus.
I was gonna say. I was gonna give him a C minus because,
you were.
because Mark has explained some things. Okay. However,
just
I had the
let the hair
question of
fly.
like, when is Ivan Toney back? Does anyone know?
He's back.
I can tell you that right now. He will be
Or
back.
rather, when does the ban end?
The January 20th is when he'll be back.
Okay. So
I
it's
don't know who
basically
that's
like there.
against, but he's been
So-
training with the team for the last couple of months. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't
I
a
thought he had to
full-on-
train on his own.
No,
He
it
could
wasn't
train
a
with the
full-on
team?
ban. That was one of the things that I felt that it was kind of soft. Was because that at a certain point within the suspension, he was going to be able to resume training with the full squad. So
Yeah.
behind the scenes, like Lolo, you mentioned, it's like, how long is it going to take him to get up to speed? I don't think very long at all. And I think
He'll score 2 goals on return, probably.
what I want to say is that I think that Thomas Frank felt that like Mbuemo could Mbuemo, Wisa, and somebody else who they ended up selling, or maybe he's just fallen out of favor, can keep the boat afloat until Tony comes. But I don't think they anticipated the seriousness of the injuries, because Mbuemo, for the most part, last season was very healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as Mark, taking what Mark is saying as correct, if he's back on the 20th, they are at home to Nottingham Forest. So, I mean, I suspected whoever they played, he would like come out like house on fire and get a brace. And I'm even more convinced of that he will get 2 goals against Nottingham Forest on 20th if that is indeed his first game back. I think it's shown how good he is by their performances since he has not been playing. It's actually served to rise his stock in the world of football, I suspect, based on the fact that everyone's still talking about him as like, no, deep down, no one really thinks he's going to join Arsenal in this window. But the fact that it's been mooted as a thing shows that if Brentford are going to want to have time to scout someone to replace him, right? So that's a summer transfer. And the money you'd be paying would make it a summer transfer.
Yeah.
But I just feel I'm just disappointed in them. I'm disappointed that in their performances, but I'm also disappointed that they've not been worse than Luton.
Yeah. 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 All right. Speaking of Nottingham Forest, let's hit Forest there. They recently made a change to Nuno Espiritu Santo. But I gotta say, Nottingham Forest, you've been here before. You had actually a decent performance to kick off the season against Arsenal, even though they lost 2-1. They were being dominated and then showed some real class with Onanye and Elanga. I thought they were going to be a lot better than what happened. And so maybe the change in form is going to go up, but I just got to say, first half of the season, sorry, you guys aren't cutting it. I thought you would be better. I'm going with a C, straight C.
Yeah, I would look at this. I would look at it much the same way. I do think that I didn't like firing Steve Cooper. I didn't like that at all, and I felt that like the ship could have been righted a little bit. I don't think they gave up on him, which the media tried to say, considering that I think he got like 2 he got 2 draws before he was sacked.
When they told him, if you lose, you're gone.
But yeah, exactly.
It's a personal sacking.
But as far as like what they have to look forward to, I think Nottingham Forest have a lot to look forward to. with Espirito Nuno Santos, because he kind of
It
knows
was
the
your
team.
manager, and you don't even know
There-
his name.
Nuno Espirito Santos.
I know,
don't-
but you said Espirito Nuno Santo.
Whatever. You know what? If his name's
It's
not
just funny that he used to be your coach. That's all. That's all.
Oh, sure, because it rolls off the tongue like
Lopetegui.
Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery, shit, legends. Nuno's not quite a legend outside of Wolverhampton. But I do think that Forrest has a lot to look forward to because he does know players on that team. I mean, he brought Den Donker up, with him with Wolves. Morgan Gibbs White was his guy, as well as Willie Bolly. So there's and it's it's kind of like up and down the pitch that he has people that trust him to where those players can look around and go, no, listen to this guy. He knows what he's fucking talking about. So I think good things are on the horizon for Forest as it sits right now. Yeah, I'd give them a C. They're average.
Yeah, and the C for me as well is because I do feel like this is a perfect season. They honestly should be right there with Brighton and West Ham. They or at least with Wolves, like Wolves and Chelsea and United. So that's why I'm rating them harsh. I think they could easily have a B or an A season if they can turn this around. So, Tom, sorry. We're supposed to be burning through these to get to the meaty bits, but
I mainly had thoughts about this anyway. Forest, the others can fuck off. But Forest, I like that they have made the change to hire Nuno Espirito Santo. Is that right? Right.
Who knows?
He's the world's most highly paid babysitter and he babysits the dugout because that team is managed by Mr. Mariakis or whoever the owner's name is.
Yeah.
Because the fact is that Steve Cooper did so well with that club and they hated it. I couldn't imagine the ego on someone to basically be like, oh, I hired a manager and because everyone's praising him, I suddenly want to get rid of him because why aren't they talking about me bringing in 200 players in 2 years? Why are they not talking about how good I did and how good our sporting director did and all this? Why are they talking about Steve Cooper? It's like, well, because he's a coach. And you gave him loads of players and he got the best out of them. And then eventually he stopped getting the best out of them. Because
you wouldn't be talking about Evangelos Marinakis, would you? He looks super happy. What are you talking about?
Oh, he was thrilled. He was absolutely thrilled with all the praise that Steve Cooper got. He was thrilled with it.
This guy looks, you want him as your boss.
And so Nuno's in my opinion, Nuno is basically a vessel for him. And it plays out that way, clearly. I mean, don't get me wrong. People are going to say, oh, he beat Manchester United. It is not difficult to get players up for a match against Manchester United, especially a Manchester United that are not doing well.
And Elanga, who was sent away from there. I
want to show there's a mistake that you got rid of me, sort of thing. Of course.
Yeah,
had all the perfect sort of ingredients for what happened.
Yeah. Okay,
and they
so
don't
now
play Man United every week, do they?
No, they do not. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to Palace. Oh shit, Gary's back. What's up, Gary?
Hey,
hello,
Gary. Welcome back.
Hello.
You sit a little too low down there. The thing covers your face. All right, guys. Let's. We have about 25 minutes left in the show. So just keep an eye on that while we're giving our things. Let's try to get all the teams in here. So I'm going to stop talking. Crystal Palace. Sorry, fellas. C-, D plus. I'm changing it. D plus. You should be. This is what I said for Nottingham Forest about you should be in that mixer with West Ham, Brighton, Wolves, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle. Like, it's a perfect time to be right in there with them. And Palace, you're just giving points away. just fucking giving points away. You should be better. D.
Roy Hodgson, I love you. I fucking love you, man. But you're not teaching any defense, and I think these guys are just kind of like you're just watching them play and waiting for when you can go home and take a nap or something. The guy's like what 80? I don't know. I have a lot of respect for the guy, and he's done a little bit better than what I expected. But if you were gonna be this bad, why'd you let Zaha go on the free?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm giving him a D.
D. Gary.
Yeah, D- for me. Yeah, they
D-.
have.
I thought my
They
D
have.
was harsh.
I think they have more talent than they you would expect them. They have some good players. People want some of their players, right? Elise comes up all the time when somebody's like,
Yeah.
"It's a January window. Who do you want?" Elise, he comes up all the
but
time.
he
It's
gets
just
hurt.
Yeah. But you know what? Maybe a
Elise
different environment.
walks into many teams in the
Yeah.
league. Elise, Eze.
Yeah. They have some good players on that team, and the way that they're playing, like you said, maybe the coach is just not. He's taking the caretaker role, but he started the season. You know what I mean? He'll get them through the season, but they should be able to do better than they have. So yeah, not. He did say, what did he say? He's looking forward to retirement, basically when they had that VAR decision go against him or
He's
whatever.
looking forward to ignoring football because
Yeah.
he doesn't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
He already
So,
tried that and it didn't work.
yeah.
D-. Mr. Tom, what do you
Right,
think?
I'll keep this short, right? If not for individual brilliance from players, and if not the fact that other teams are worse, they would be in trouble.
Yep.
D and 5 minuses for every goal that they scored at Ellen Road in April because of our own incompetence, and it seems to be the only time I've ever actually seen them play well in 45 minutes of football for a long time. Fuck Crystal Palace.
There you
Good
go.
luck, everyone else.
There you go. Gary, I want you to start with Fulham for us. Fresh wounds.
Wow.
Fresh wounds, Gary. Come on.
That's a serious gut punch.
Yeah, don't make me put you full screen.
No. Wow. Wow. I don't know if I expect them to be any better than they are. I mean, they're sitting, this is 13th. That's pretty good right there in I think for them. So I think probably people might have thought they might have been a little bit higher, but I think that's probably where they probably should be right there. Is a good spot. So as far as table position, I think they're okay. They definitely, they are they are this season. They are the Burnley season for us. Burnley took 4 points from us as well. So they got 4 points from us. So yeah, they had our number. So yeah, I'm giving them a C.
C. All right.
Yeah.
Mark, love you some Fulham.
I'm gonna do them a little bit better. Actually, I'm gonna do them a lot better. I think they're worthy of a B, only because they have shown great improvement. Early part of the season, they're not so sexy. You kind of wonder if, like, what is his name, Iraola or something like that, the manager for Fulham. You're kind of wondering like how fast he's going to get sacked because Fulham was pretty shitty, and then all of a sudden. Is it Marco Silva? Oh, okay. Areola is with Bournemouth. Yeah, sorry about that. I get it confused every once in a while. Marco Silva, same thing. But then they put it together. They scored 16 goals in 5 games or something crazy like that. You know the numbers. But then Raul Jimenez gets a red card, and they suck. I guess he's really important to that attack because his first game back was against Arsenal, and we know what happened there. So I'm giving Fulham a B, only because they've shown great improvement over the season.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Tom?
I'm going to give Fulham a grade of an A-. And that is because I was so impressed with Raul Jimenez's red card because I thought it was incredible. I thought it was an incredible piece of television. When to me, this is the moment where the Premier League became a television show rather than a sport because he stood there with that referee and watched himself try to actually launch. What player did he jump into? I forgot, but basically, whoever he jumped into, let's just say it was Jack Grealish, even though they weren't playing Man City, right? He launched his arse. He tried to launch his arse so far into that player that they would have actually had to surgically remove his face from his arse. And then he had the audacity to turn around to the ref and go, "Why are you red carding me?" It was cinema. It was incredible. I loved it. A-. And I am impressed that they actually managed to sell a 40-goal striker because of Mitrovic scored 43 goals for them in the championship. And I know different levels, but still, they've basically then managed to lose games by loads of goals and then win games by loads of goals, and they're not missing him. Wonderful stuff.
Our research team has told me that red card was against Sean Longstaff, who is a pretty strapping tall dude.
Yeah,
so
he had to
that
jump.
much air, I actually
had to jump.
Kind of hoped that had wished that Raul would have put on the luchadora mask before he went for his
done a flying leap.
So I don't mean to slow this down, but so you're telling me that he launched his ass into a long staff? That's not PG.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay,
that's one of those you want to see in slow motion. You're like, what was he thinking?
Yeah. All right,
you can see Longstaff going.
Sean Longstaff is just watching him going, that's not gonna reach me. That's not gonna get up. Holy shit, that's on its way. So my grade for Fulham has to be an A++. Look, you beat the best team in the world at home. Nobody does that. Well, that was at their home, so sorry, never mind.
They beat Man City.
No, Arsenal. So and I have to think you're the best in the world if you beat us. No. I'm gonna give them an A. I think they're right where they need to be. Fulham are not going to be competing for Europe, but they need to be safe away from the relegation zone. And look, they had a run of 16 goals in 4 games. 3 wins and 1 loss. The loss coming to Liverpool, where they got 3 fucking goals at Anfield.
Mm-hmm. And weren't they up 3-2?
Yeah. They were up 3-2 and they lost. So you got to say you're doing something right if you're scoring those kind of goals, and then you Arsenal comes to town and you dig out a win where you outplay us. Like, as bad as I think we were personally, I think Fulham was on their shit and they had a really good game. And as long as you're capable to do that, they're not Europe would be incredible for them, and it would probably fuck up their season next year if they got it. So they're right where they need to be. All right, that's it. I'm going to give them an A. Perfect execution of what needs to be going on right now. So Bournemouth is next. Let's go to Bournemouth, everybody. I didn't make the thing yet. Who wants to go forward? Fourth?
I will go fourth and make it very
first.
Rather quick. I had these guys relegated. They're mid-table. They've rattled off like 5 wins in a row, 4 wins in a row. They're not that bad. They play fun football. And who's their striker? Solanke,
yeah.
Solanke's amazing. And if I'm Arsenal, that's who I'm going after.
So many people are saying, "Oh, just bring in Solanke." Just
35. It would only be 35 million. He could be. You never know. But I would give Bournemouth again as far as a late first half of the season improvement. I'll give them a B because they know the assignment.
All right. Tom, Bournemouth.
I'm going to give Bournemouth the grade of G for go fuck yourself, you Leeds
All right.
player stealing cunts.
Very good. Gary, what do we think about Bournemouth?
Damn. The guy before me was a little harsh. I mean, I don't think he likes them at all. No, I think they've been having a good season. Like you said, it's probably right where they need to be. I'm giving them a C plus. Yeah, C plus
No
for me.
way.
I
No
know.
way, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you give them whatever you want. I'm just commenting on my own.
Yeah. No, I looked at the last time. When we played them, it's crazy to think that we only took 13 shots on them and scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
Because we've shot 30 times and scored 0. So that seems like a long time ago. I think a lot of the teams are playing a lot more solid these days outside of Arsenal. So they're one of them as well. I think, as you said, they did lose to that team, but they won at least a 4 before that. So they got Liverpool coming up next time they play. So that's going to be another challenge for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm going with Bournemouth with a B. I think they're doing very, very well. They're doing good things. They're a tough match. And I think they, once again, just like Fulham, they're right where they need to be. What's going on, Alonzo? Good to see you in the chat, my man. Let's go to our next one. Next would be Wolves. Mark, do you want to start?
Oh, I most absolutely do want to start. 36 hours before the season began, Julian Lopetegui quit. And he was a pretty damn good manager. He undid a lot of the damage that was done by Bruno Lage the previous season. In fact, I was at Ellen Road when I heard that Bruno Lage got sacked. But 36 hours before the season began, and my phone was ablaze by apologies and saying that Wolves were going to be relegated and what I was going to do and all these things. And I agreed. I really agreed. But Gary O'Neill is doing above and beyond all expectations given all the talent we shed at the beginning of the year. If we want to look at the table, and this is Wolves' accomplishment right here, they took points off of Villa, City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Chelsea. That's a pretty damn good resume. We are scoring goals, not a lot in the top tier. We're not scoring as many goals as Arsenal, but we scored 31 goals last year, all season. 31 goals, negative 27 goal differential. Wolves have scored 30 at the halfway point this year. Some of these no-name players that weren't even expected to fit in with Gary O'Neill, that weren't chosen by Gary O'Neill. He didn't know anything about this squad. We are sitting a solid mid-table, far higher than anyone expected. I'm giving an unbiased A+.
I will echo everything that you said right there. A+,
except for the grade.
No. A+, because if you look at it, those were 5 clubs that you mentioned that you guys won.
Yeah.
In your head, Mark, those 5 teams, what did you say? City, Arsenal, Tottenham?
No. We beat City. We beat Tottenham.
Not Arsenal. Yeah. City, Tottenham.
We beat City. We beat Tottenham. We beat Chelsea. We drew with Newcastle, and we drew with Aston Villa.
Okay. So, but if you look at that, those are not points. There are 0 points guaranteed there.
Exactly. We got 11 out of 15.
So if we take those 11 away, you're on 17 points. You're right there with Everton. You're still digging out a relegation battle. You guys are doing something incredible, and we've always said if Wolves could find the back of the net, they're such a solid team otherwise, and it's happening. So fucking A+, man. You guys are killing it. Gary, Tom? Next
I
team,
think
please.
Wolves are a B plus. Some good results, some good stuff, but nothing that actually made me laugh. So slightly below Fulham.
That Korean guy was probably the best thing ever to happen.
Yeah, it really
when
is.
when Pep said, "Oh, they've got a bunch of good players. They've got that
Cunha,
Korean guy,
Neto, and the Korean
yeah,
guy.
the Korean guy." And then who goes and scores for Wolves? That Korean
The
guy,
Korean
and he
guy.
sings, "What's my motherfucking name?
That's
He
right.
Chan Wang. He Chan." Yeah, man. Fuck that. I would be. Oh yeah. I can't believe. Are there shirts at like Wolverhampton matches that just say like that Korean guy?
I want a
Like,
shirt that says
You
number
you should have bought your kit on the back. It should say that Korean guy.
Oh, I'll spend another. I'll buy
Oh,
a
my
cheap one and
master's
put it
here.
on the back. That would
Sorry.
be amazing.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Gary, did you give your
Yeah,
2
B,
cents
B
on
plus
my
B
Wolves?
plus for me. Like I said, the way the season started and where they are today, they basically looked at, for what I can tell, that they looked at that first game and said certain things we need to work on, and that's what they worked on, and they look much better now. So, injuries or not, that hasn't mattered, right? Players have been out, hasn't mattered. They just continue to play. So there you go. Yes, B plus for me. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to mid-table Chelsea. Guys, Chelsea sitting in what, 10th place, 11th place?
Genuinely disappointing. I'm gonna give them a D minus.
Gotta get these sorted. 10 points, D minus from Tom. All right. Any other
Genuinely
words?
disappointing because they only put in good performances against the big teams and against everyone else distinctively average.
I myself am going to echo Mr. Tom's words. We still don't know who Chelsea is. Every time they do something good, the next week they turn around and shit the bed. I'm gonna give them a C minus, with the expectation that they're gonna pull that grade up at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can't give any Chelsea anything higher than a C plus. But I'm going to go with a D. Absolute disgrace to spend that kind of money and do all those things and then not be able to do anything with it with a manager like Pochettino. Sorry, D. Go duck yourself. Let's go.
Yeah, I gave him a D as well. Like you said, there's a lot of talent being wasted there. How can you do that? That's they found a way. They found a way to tell you it's not all about the talent. Sometimes it's actually about the chemistry more. I guess rather have lesser talented, more. You look at the league, teams with the more continuity and more team continuity for sure. They look much better, right, than Chelsea does. From week to week, you never know what you're going to get, right? They could have lost to Luton this past weekend or a couple weekends ago, whatever it was, and then they go out and they play, other teams really good, and you're like, what's going on? So there's something going on there, but yeah, D right now because of where they should be based on how much money they have spent. We grade in numbers, not letters, Gary. Everybody else is saying letters. Why is he picking me out of that? You're all saying letters. I say letters, and now
we're all doing letter grades. I don't know what we're talking
Cole
about.
Palmer's been good, and that's
Cole Palmer has been good as well. Let's just hope. I really don't want them. There's news about Conor Gallagher going to Tottenham. I think that would be dumb for Chelsea on multiple counts. Conor Gallagher would be very good for Tottenham. Yeah. So they are your rivals, like it or not. That's very dumb. But then also very dumb for Chelsea in that Conor Gallagher has been great for them this season. He's a workhorse and he's a captain. He's captained a few times. I think he's been chosen the most by Pochettino based on how fit you've been, if he's fit, he plays.
Game he's been available.
Yeah, for games available. Thank you for translating.
I think I think the reason he will be first out the door if they are to sell people is literally from a financial fair play perspective, because they never paid for him. And anything they get for him is pure profit on the books. And they need profit on the books. It's like why Mason Mount was sold as well, was because,
and stupid teams are helping him out.
Yeah.
Very, very stupid teams are helping him out. Mine included.
Yeah. Everybody's bailing them out. All right, guys, let's go to Newcastle. Newcastle is sitting just above Chelsea in 9th place, 29 points. They've gone on a terrible run, and a lot of it has to do with injuries, but I mean, like, come on, something's got to give. You've lost like 5 out of the last 6 or something like that. You're Newcastle. You're supposed to be back. I'm sorry. It's tough, but I'm going to give them a C. I understand they've had a lot of injuries, but no. C for Newcastle. Poor.
I'm gonna give them a C minus. You know, as you said, similar reasons why they've been. Yes, they've had injuries, but they have had opportunities. I think in these games as well. So they haven't performed either. So, but yeah, no, I'm giving them a C. What did I say? C minus, I guess. I don't know what I said.
C minus.
So yeah, it's been a tough one for them, and everybody kind of expected it, right? They expected it was going to be a little bit hard with the Champions League, but I don't think they expected it to look like this. They just thought it was just going to be really tough on the team, but it's actually been. They've actually had some additional negative things happen to them as well. It makes you wonder, like, should they have just spent the money? Like people were saying, they probably should have just spent the money. They're trying to do it somewhat organically. I know they may have rules and stuff, but it's hurting them now.
All right, Mark, Tom.
Tom, go ahead.
I would say they are. I don't know. Let's say a D for the fact that obviously the results ain't been great, but there are extenuating circumstances with the injuries and the. I mean, personally, I think they should have done more due diligence, like as in, do you like to gamble? Like, it's a simple question to a person. Like, if I was going to spend a lot of money on a footballer, I would probably like to know if they had a gambling habit. And there probably are ways to find that out without, because you can assume, obviously, he would say no if that's the case. But you know what I mean? Like, because losing someone you've paid a lot of money for however long it is.
Yeah, and happening that quickly really as well.
Yeah,
right.
So they, but they should be doing better, even in spite of all that, because they still have footballers in the team. Like, it's not like they're left with nobody. They've just lost key players.
Yep.
Yeah, losing key players at different times during the season. It's been a very impossible task for them, but they're still managing in some situations to find a way. I think they are exactly where they should be, given who they are and what they're dealing with. And as far as Tonali is concerned, Lolo, you and I were talking about that yesterday. It's like, how do you not vet that out? I mean, the Tony investigation was how long?
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I'd give them a C with room for improvement because I think the January window is going to be really kind with them.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to do some business, and they're going to be able to do it legally, even though morally corruptly. But that's for another show. We are already running out of time in this show, and we still have 8 more teams to go. So let's get to it. Let's talk about
I got this one.
All right, Gary.
They are A. They are right where we expected them to be, where we hoped they would be. They are playing some really good football for a team at that level. It's great to see. Ten Hag knows what he's doing. the man can coach. I think 10 more years, 10-year hog. That's what I'm saying. I think we're all enjoying it, right? We're all enjoying
Yeah.
it. I mean, they're
couldn't
they're
agree
hoping
more.
they're hoping
Keep
for all
going.
this Middle Eastern money to come in and everything's going to be good, and then it's not.
Yep.
And now they've got
Yeah.
some Sir Ratcliffe in the house, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, they are. A's kind of because I like what I see, but yeah, they are. It's pretty bad there. I think it's pretty bad there. It's a straight F. Straight F. I don't think
No, Gary. I
you
think
like
you're
the
right.
A. You like the A.
Nay.
I
It's
was
an
gonna
A.
say
Of course it's an A.
we can move on because I
Okay.
think Gary hit the nail on the head explaining their situation. Yet I think we're all gonna give them an A. Keep doing what you're doing, fellas. You're doing great. You're
More of
doing
that.
great.
More of that.
Ten Hog, 10
Keep
more
s-
years. 10 Hog in. I haven't screamed out
Convince
this much
Cameroon
since
to not
Ollie
take
in.
goalkeeper.
What?
Convince Cameroon to not take Onana to AFCON.
Actually,
him,
they
yeah.
I think he's the one that's saying I don't want to play. You know, I guess he doesn't want to show what poor form he's in.
Yeah, that would be really bad to play in the AFCON right now if you were struggling as a goalkeeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not have the hatred for Man United because I'm just.
I gave them praise.
We were gonna move on after 1 minute, Mark. We're trying. We still got 7 more teams.
All right.
Whatever. We're going into bonus. We're in Arteta time.
We're in Arteta time right now. I just will quickly add, I'm very interested to see what will happen with United in the second half of the season when they get rid of these distractions, when they get rid of Sancho, possibly Anthony, bring in somebody else, who knows? But they got a lot of distractions in that locker room, and that'd be really interesting to see what happens. They're only 3 points off of 6th place, so you know they're in better shape than the table might say.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're like Real Madrid. You got to put them down all the way. You can't go into halftime being like, oh, 3-0, we got this. We can't go into halftime of the season going, oh, Man United in 8th. Cool. We don't have to worry about them. They're bastards, I'm telling you. They're right bastards. All right, Brighton. I'll go ahead and do this one. Brighton, I'm sorry, fellas. 7th place. 7th place when United, Newcastle, and Chelsea have been so poor? No, my friends. You should be better than this. I'm going to give you a C+. The plus is for adding, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they definitely should be higher up in the table or looking better at least, right? I mean, they seem to be able to weather any storm whenever they lose a player. So the football just doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they lost, who was it?
Iseda?
Enciso.
Things
kind of Enciso.
Oh,
I think they had a lot of plans for him in the game plan, and he went injured. And missed the entire, except for the first 2 games of the year. And I've kind of been waiting for that new star to emerge for Brighton. Hasn't quite happened.
You got a point there, Mark.
But they've got a lot of money to spend in the window, but I see. They're not impressive, but then they pull off these amazing wins, you know.
And I think Purvis being out as well.
Who?
Purvis was missing for a bunch of games.
Yeah.
It's Stupignon.
It's Stupignon.
We're friends, so I call him Purvis or Perv for short. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Next club, Tom. Are you going to mention anything about Brighton? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll give them Brighton a D simply because I think they're sort of hitting the wall of where a club of their standing realistically what the ceiling is. I think they're also discovering that they probably need a bigger and maybe even a better squad to cope with Thursday and Sunday football. And yeah, I think the results reflect that. Generally.
All right. Sounds about right. All right, let's go to East London, where you were at, Tom. Not to blow up your spot, but what do we think about the Hammers?
I think they exist.
All right, very good, Gary.
No, I actually think they're doing good for losing Rice. They've shown that hasn't been an issue. The business that they did in the off season looked really good, and I think it's paying dividends for them. I mean, I think it's a tough season. So yes, they're not they're not sitting in the top 4, but I think in the top 7. I think they're 7th. I think so. They're doing just right, and they've got some good players there. So I'm going to give them a B minus.
I'm going to do a little bit better by them because, and this is solely on their defense. They can defend, and they're defending really, really well right now. James Ward-Prowse has proven to be a great pickup. They're plugging along. They've had some slip ups, and losing Antonio and now Paqueta has been rough, but they still persevere. I'm gonna give them a B. I think they're a solid team still.
Yeah, Tom. Oh, you already went.
You said they exist.
Right,
No, I'm gonna give them a B plus, man.
They're doing all right.
West Ham are doing very well. They're playing well as a team. Look, Antonio's been missing the entire season. Essentially, he played a handful of games in the beginning of the season. But you're right, Gary. They've shown that Rice is replaceable with £100 million to buy a bunch of other players. But they did some good recruiting, and they got some good pickups there, and they're working well as a team. Moyes has something going. I really think Moyes would have retired last season had they not won the Europa Conference League. But doing that has sort of given them a rejuvenated sense about themselves, and everybody telling them that they're going to go down because they lost Declan Rice. This is all coming from me having too many West Ham friends and having to discuss how good they are at a West Ham bar after losing 2-0 with 30 shots and 0 goals.
You guys could have had 300 shots, and I don't think
it wasn't happening
that day. They were locking it down.
My buddy of mine who was there with me, I put him in an Arsenal kit. He doesn't watch football at all. But I just leaned over to him like the 65th minute or something about that time, and I was like, we're not going to score ever. This is just one of those games. It happens in FIFA too. Like, it's such a real thing that they've put it into the algorithm of like FIFA on the PlayStation, where some games you're just not, even your good shots are going to be saved, blocked, or just off target, and it's just not going to happen. And that's,
I believe they call that tethering.
Tethering?
Yeah, in the gaming, it's like, because it's like, I think it was first coined like in Mario Kart, where there'd be like an invisible algorithm that meant like the last car and the first car can't get too far apart.
Oh yeah, tethering. Oh, I get you. Yeah.
And FIFA does the same thing. It's to maximize the drama.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I play FIFA in the career mode with Odegaard. I've got like 55 goals in 16 games just with Odegaard. And then I played West Ham, and it was like they had this, we just couldn't score. Everything was getting, I had all these shots on target, and I just couldn't score on fucking FIFA. I still ended up winning 5-0 because when you get 30 fucking Moving on. That team, Gary, we're going to start with you because I know you love them.
Oh, boy. Man. Yeah, I mean, they're doing good. I don't know. I don't like to say it, but they are doing good. I think that what we saw in the beginning of the season and what we're seeing now is nothing. They haven't changed much. They did take a little blip when they had the injuries. I think it took a little time for Ange to figure out what he had and how to play with them. No matter how many players he has available, they've done pretty good. He's done pretty good with that. and they're going to get healthier as the next couple of weeks come up. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of fun for those on the outside watching what's happening. So he's done a good job there. So I think the depth is still going to be an issue because and we'll see how long Romero lasts. Will he will he try for another red again, or will he play better? So yeah, no, I don't want to give them a good grade, but
You have to.
I'm going to give them a B plus. Yes, I'll give them a B plus. They've done, and I don't think people have said they don't even know if they've spent all of the Kane money. So it's B plus, and we'll see what they do in this window because they do need some help. I know they're looking at a center back. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
do.
what team are you talking about, Gary?
No, I'm done. No, don't ask me
Good
that.
try. Good try,
It's
Tom.
right under his head there. Just you see it.
Good try, Tom. You almost got
Oh
him.
yeah, there it is. My apologies. My bad.
No, that's not nice at all.
Nah.
Listen, I gotta. As much as I hate to do that, I've gotta give Tottenham a. Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. I gotta give Tottenham some
You want me to do it for you?
Yeah.
You want me to
say
say
this
it
part
for you?
me? Just say this part for me.
We got to give Tottenham some props. We got to give them some props here because here we are at the midpoint of the season, given all the injuries that they've got, all their new signings got injured, some of their better players got injured, and they lost Harry Kane. They are 3 points from second place. I'm giving them that A. Go on and give them that A.
Oh my God, you're giving them an A.
Yeah.
An A.
Because they've weathered the storm, and Ange has them play. Ange didn't change the style of play given the injuries. He said, nope, this is the plan. We're sticking to it, and it's gotten them there. A, maybe if I won't, out of respect to the Arsenal fans, I won't give them an A plus, but I'll give them an A.
I'm gonna give them a B plus. B
Stop
plus.
it.
B plus. Listen, after losing Harry Kane, which somebody mentioned in here, Arsenal fans are happy about that. Actually, no. He was a major distraction for them, I thought. And a crutch, a big crutch for them. And he painted over a lot of the cracks for them. So once he left, there was a lot of shit that needed to be sorted out, and I think that Ange is doing a really good job about it. And I think they're doing very, very well. Did you see, by the way, Ange? I hate that I like him, but some reporters asked him. They're like, "Do you dream of?" Do you have dreams of lifting lifting trophies and all that? And he goes, "Nah, mate. I've got photos if I want to look at those." And they're like, "Oh, well, I mean, like to be a champion, yeah, I got photos of those moments, mate." It's just like, yeah, he's won shit before just because he's at Tottenham. Like,
Right.
Anyway,
Winning
but
stuff
yeah,
with
I'm gonna
Celtic
say
doesn't count.
what with
Winning
Celtic.
stuff with Celtic doesn't count at all.
Well, I think
It's still a photo with a trophy.
Yeah, I think the
Nobody at
selling.
Tottenham has that.
Yeah, I think the selling of Harry Kane. I thought that was going to happen when they brought Nuno in because that would have made more sense to me because I don't think Nuno Espirito would have been able to handle a team with Kane on it just because of what would have been required of him. Whereas if he would have been able to bring in his own players and have a little bit more influence on the team structure, they're doing it now. They tried. They thought it's okay. We'll keep Kane and all will be all right. But nope. They did sell him, and then now I think they're reaping the benefits because now the coach that they have in there is able to establish his own style, bring in his own players, and go from there. So they're a couple of years behind, but he's done a good job. Hate to say it.
Nuno went 4-0 to start the season without Harry Kane, and Harry Kane came along, and we know what happened to him.
They've experienced that in they experienced that in the Champions League, right? They get to the finals without him. He shows up and
Yep, exactly.
I think deep down we all knew it was going to be Harry Kane's like. Preface it, Harry Kane is obviously a world-class striker, and he has the numbers that say that. But his numbers also harm Tottenham when he played for them, because he scored loads of goals, but Tottenham scored less goals than they would have if he wasn't there, because you have to give him the ball. Because of his standing in the team, you had to give him the ball, which meant there were 10 other players that wouldn't have had the opportunities that they would have when he wasn't there. Son scored loads of goals whenever Harry Kane was injured.
Yep. And he's scoring loads of goals right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's move to the better part of North London and go to the arseholes. Who wants to start on this one? I mean, I can if you want.
I'll just start, and I'll be brief so that the Arsenal fans can actually talk about it. Up until about 4 weeks ago, I was ready. I would give them an A, but they've slipped. The tests have gotten a little tougher, and I don't mean by the opponents, but by the manager. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it seems like there's been a change in how Arsenal plays in the last few weeks, because I'm watching a lot of Arsenal players kind of bumping into each other and getting into each other's way on both ends of the pitch. So they don't get that A with me, but they're a solid B, because you just have to give them that solid B.
Tom, you giving us a solid B?
You know what? I'm going to give Arsenal the grade of an A-.
Okay.
Because I think Arsenal were really fucking solid until Christmas and that West Ham game. Because getting a draw at Anfield is by no means a failure or anything like that. I know it's a result you wanted, but a lot of teams don't win at Anfield. I can think of one that did, but anyway. Sorry, one second.
It was Leeds United. Okay, for those of you who don't know, it was Leeds United.
Yeah. Do not make that clear. Anyway.
No, but nobody.
Go on the trip on. I believe it's the October 31st episode, 2022 episode of the trip, where I may have reacted to Leeds' win at Anfield. Just saying. Anyway.
A lot of smiling.
Yeah, the language was foul. Anyway. So yeah, but seriously, I think Arsenal were fine. Declan Rice keeping Arsenal ticking over very nicely. So I was trying to read what Ian was saying there. Sorry. Yeah, you're doing well. I don't think you're doing as badly as Arsenal fans think they're doing, personally.
It has been a rough 6 games. We did get the draw at Liverpool, but the form has dropped off a lot. So yeah, hopefully it's just a blip, but we shall see when we play again. So it started out. I think for me, it's not that good. I know. All the other fans are looking at it going, "You're doing all right," but I don't think so. I think from what you did last season to this season is a big step down a little bit. Yes, we're trying something new, and maybe that's the reason. But I don't think Arteta is a manager that can just make a change like that and it work. And I kind of feel like took on too much of a challenge, I believe, for a young manager to do a change like what he's doing, plus handle all the other dynamics of coaching. So for me, it's a C, because I think we are a much better squad than we're showing. And I think it's little things. I don't think just because you bring in a striker, things are going to work. I don't think that's true. I think you've got 11 players on the pitch. All of them don't look right, as far as the attack goes, I find that's a bit of a stretch there. So, yeah, C for me. You're on mute, or at least I can't hear you.
I was on mute. I'm gonna, with my choice for Arsenal, I think I'm going to go with a B. I agree with everything you said there, Gary. But I also agree with these guys as well. And I think Arsenal have done well despite ourselves. A lot of these matches that we've won in the last minute, we've come from behind, we've not played well and still won. Like, any one of those goes away, and we're dropping down there. We're in like West Ham territory. I think we meddled. Our coach meddled when he shouldn't have been meddling. He should have been progressing. Yet we're still in the thick of it. So maybe what his meddling will be gooder for the longer termer. Maybe what he's doing will be better for long term. And last year, what we did wasn't sustainable. So this is a minor hunger pain, growing pain. I don't know. So I'm going to give us a B because we are right in the thick of it. We are in the next round of the Champions League. And, but I think it's despite ourselves. Like, I feel like it's like when you're doing really good with something and your coach comes over and adds more weights and you're like, but no, I was finally getting it. You're like, well, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
B. All right.
Senior
Next up, we
Tom?
got.
Did
Mr.
Tom give his 2
Tom
cents?
gave us an A. He gave us an A,
A
right?
minus. A minus.
minus. So we
Yeah.
get less of the money. Let's go to Shitty. What's up, Stan the man? Good to see you, Stan. All right. Man City, anybody?
Sure.
I'm going to B. It's B.
There you have it.
B.
It's a B. They're not doing well by their standards, but they're still in a position where you know at any moment they can rattle off the next 10 games comfortably.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have not exactly been impressed with City, and I have said it before, and I'll reiterate and say that I do not think that City wins it this year. I think they have more problems than it just being Kevin De Bruyne gone, and he's going to be coming back soon. So I guess I'll find out. They are notoriously slow starters, and this is about the time of year that they get revved up. I don't think this is the season. I think that losing Gundogan has proven to be a far more bigger loss and a far more detrimental to the squad. But I still would give them a B plus. I'm not exactly convinced of their season, like Tom was saying, but B plus for me because it's City and they're that they know the homework.
Yeah,
They know the lesson.
I'm right
plan.
there to B. They're just run of the mill right now. Only a B being 5 points out of first with a game in hand, doing poorly. That's why they get a B. Just because we know who they are and what they could be. Okay, everybody happy there? Let's go to Aston Villa.
I was going to say on.
Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, yeah. I was going to say on them, yeah. I think I gave them a B, but it's they're not playing anywhere near where they want to be. But like you said, I don't know. We don't know if they will get to where they need to be. But also, I think the way the season has gone, they might not need to. I mean, the league, they may have come down to the league, but the league hasn't gone enough ahead that they can surpass them because Haaland's out. We expect him to come back. He's still leading the league, and he hasn't played in it seems like a month. It seems right. So
he's tied now. I think.
He's tied now. So yeah. So whatever little bit KDB gives them, most of it probably might be inspirational and all of that. because they're playing all right. I mean, what do you see on the pitch that you go, well, KDB's not there, so that's the problem, right? I think it's going to be an up and down season for everybody, but I think they have Haaland, and if KDB does get a little bit healthier, they'll be all right. So I think it will be interesting to see how this thing pans out. But yeah, B for me.
All right. Let's go to Aston Villa. I mean, it's got to be A- right now. A-. Cut it out. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, A for me. They're doing really good. Everything seems to be clicking. I like yeah. And McGinn, right? It's McGinn, right? So
Yeah.
that guy, he gives me those like Milner vibes in terms of kind of like that intensity on the pitch, and gives you the answers and stuff just up at the top of the pitch though. So yeah, they're doing good, and sucks as well for Arsenal. So yeah.
Tom?
I would give them an A+, and the only reason they are not getting an A star, the highest grade, of course, is because of their performance against Sheffield United. I don't think they took it seriously. I don't think they applied themselves in the way that they should have done. They should have been top at Christmas, and they weren't, because I don't think they respected the opponent in the way that they should have. But other than that, and obviously going 2-0 up at Old Trafford and not winning when you're that high up the table was a sin. Absolute sin.
This is that kind of a season, though, because nobody would have said that Luton would play Manchester City and Arsenal the way they have. Nobody would expect Aston Villa to play. Would play. They didn't lose
They
both.
got nothing.
I'm sorry, Liverpool.
They got
and
nothing.
Liverpool.
Oh.
Yeah, but they played really well, right? That's what I mean. Like, and they're at the bottom of the table. You know what I mean? So they are making teams struggle. But so yeah. So I think it's one of those seasons. Everything's up and down. You're not going to get consistency, I think, throughout.
For me, given what they dealt with at the beginning of the year, to lose Buendia and then you lose Mings in that first game of the year, but it didn't matter because while everyone was thinking that Newcastle was going to rip things up, Aston Villa, I think, beat them like 4-1 or something. They're not in the best of form right now, but I mean, they got that injury bug going on, so I'll be willing to kind of, and it's been injuries as of like the last few games. Like they lost Digne, and then I think Kamara for like a red card or some sort of suspension. I'm not really sure what. I'm willing to look beyond that. They're a lot higher up the table than I expected, and by a lot higher, I don't even know what that means this season. But they get the A, and not the A star, not the A+, but the A. That team good.
To be fair, Ian, there was a star when I was in school. So, but to be fair to Ian, you are about 900 years old. So
that's just mean, Ian.
Look, not me.
All right, guys, let's get to Liverpool.
Not me.
How do we feel about Liverpool, guys?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a B. I mean they are a B just because why should I say, yeah. No, I'll give them a B+. Give them a B+ for me. I think everybody's surprised by it, but I think this is where we expected them, and I expected them to return back to where they were before. I mean, the way they ended the last season, they haven't stopped, right? They've got Salah. As far as I'm concerned, Salah definitely is part of that train that they have with Van Dijk and Alisson there. So they're doing exactly what they've had the blips like everybody else. That's why they don't get the good grades. But they're sitting 5 points ahead. Where in this kind of 5 now or 2, depending on how you want to read it. But that's where they want to be. We'll see what they do if they do anything in the window. But it will be tough. It might be a challenge for them. But we'll see. Yeah, B+ for me.
Yeah, they're exactly where I thought they'd be. Even
first
when
place.
Yeah.
At a time,
really did.
challenging for the league for sure.
That's definitely challenging for the league, but like at this point, I was like, you know what, they could lead the table heading into the halfway point. I had a little more faith than Dirty Jersey Chris, but I think that's more of him not wanting to jinx it. I'm gonna give them an A- because they've got some players that just can't that should be tearing it up. And they're just not finding the back of the net. So A-, and it's a solid season. The cups, the national cups, the African Cup of Nations and the Asian Cup of Nations are gonna really hurt for those guys because, Salah we know is doing well, but that Endo kid has been real key to Liverpool's success. And so I'd be curious.
Got Player of the Month too.
Yeah. I'm going to be curious how they fare moving forward without them until what is mid-February.
I think smart coaches will figure a way. I think if Endo, for example, were to get injured or something, they would have an answer, I believe. So it may take him a game or two to catch up and figure it out, but. That's why, we look at the Klopps and the Peps, they don't have to have all the pieces all the time. They will find an answer. That's what we expect them to do anyway. So he'll have a way to, I think, that's why it's a little bit scary when we play them on Sunday. They're missing Salah, they're missing Endo. How are they going to manage? I think they'll manage just fine. They come up with a game plan. If they'll look at all the other teams that have played us with lesser talent and be able to put a little bit of pressure on us. So they'll probably do the same thing, and they have a Jota. They have a Jota, so
they got a lot of Jota. I gotta give them I'm gonna give them an A, a straight A. I think they're still not. All the pieces are there, but they're trying to be put together in certain ways. And they had some injuries as well, but. They are proving to be the Liverpool that we know and hate. That is very tough at home and very tough away. And like we said, guys, I don't know if you realize they've only lost once, and it was to Tottenham when they were called off a goal for no fucking reason, and then Jota was then red carded, which was also sketchy as shit. And I think they had 2 red cards in the game. That's their only loss. So as much as we want to keep saying City's going to do this and City's going to do this, Liverpool's doing it right now. So somebody's got to go in and beat Liverpool, straight up beat them. And maybe Salah going away and Endo going away is going to do that and help the league, or just give it to City. I don't know, but I'm giving them a straight up A. I think they've done masterful with what they're doing, with what they have, and they came into the season with. That's it, guys. We got through it. Finally, only 33 minutes
dive was
past
disgusting.
time.
Yeah.
That what?
Yeah, it was.
I'd be ashamed. I'd be ashamed to score a goal off of that dive.
The dive.
Disgusting.
Oh my god.
My apologies, but it couldn't not be said.
He kept going and then realized, I think the ball is too far away. Oh, I think he touched me a while back.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
And
It definitely
like,
wasn't
don't worry,
a
they're going to
case
review
of
it.
trying
They're
to
going to
stay
review
up.
it.
He was not trying to stay on his feet. He realised there was a minimal contact or whatever, and then realised, oh, wait a minute, there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Did they review that one like they do all the other stuff?
Yeah, they have to. They have to. They reviewed it and saw that there was contact. So penalty.
They saw there was
Done.
contact.
There was contact. There's no doubt about that. It's just, he had to sell it to get it.
Well, they've already said that contact doesn't mean it warrants a foul, right? We've heard that so many times. That's why they have not given them before. So, yeah. You have to. It's a stretch to say there was contact.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it has been a shit ton of fun talking to you guys for 2.5 hours. John, very good to see you as well. He says, great show again. Thank you. And y'all give Tom and Ben some love on their channel. Don't forget to check out Tom and Ben's channel. Let me see. Where is it? This is where John takes control. I don't have it here. I don't have it anywhere. Sorry, guys.
But anyway, we'll be covering the Leeds versus Birmingham game because it went rather well for us. And depending on the outcome of our trip to Peterborough on Sunday, may even add that in as well.
Wow. All right. And Gary, when's the next time the trip is on? Are you on tomorrow?
Well, the road trip will be on tomorrow, so you'll see this
Am
guy,
I allowed on it?
Mr. Tom. I don't know. He usually comes on, so he'll probably be on it. And Sam, Lord Greenwood, or Mr. Pete Tate might show up for those who know. So we'll see. But yeah, and then on Monday we'll have. I guess we'll have the trip on. I don't know what we're going to talk about because, well, I guess we'll talk about Arsenal.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be smiling when we talk about them and not screaming. So check us out
Let's see.
tomorrow at 3 p.m. for you guys in the UK, and on Monday, I guess it'll be early Tuesday morning, 12:30 a.m. for you guys on the. Basically, it's a Monday night for us here in the States. So see you then.
All right.
All right, fellas. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Mark,
thanks
I'll see
for having
you on Happy Hour next week at least. But anyway, thank you guys very much for joining us. Don't forget, check out our other videos on the channel. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you all for joining us and sticking with us for 2.5 hours. We hope you had a good time. We'll see you next Friday on Happy Hour. Peace.
Ciao,
Y'all.
ciao.